Hey, it's Richard here with Sherwood Motor Cars, and today we're going for a drive in this unbelievable 1951 GMC. This pickup is brand new and it is bad to the bone. Let's go for a drive. This truck is the result of a ground-up build, over $150,000 in just parts, an incredible amount of labor, and a ton of craftsmanship has gone into this truck. We're at 302 miles on the truck on its build. This thing is slammed. It's got all the right stuff. It's got a bitchin' big block, and it is black, 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 black. It is sinister, it is nasty, and we're gonna find out how it drives. So this truck is from the early 50s, 51, they made these trucks from 49 to 54. Very, very, very classic body style of trucks. There's lots of sort of street rod style trucks over the years that have been built. This one's done in just a little bit more of a pro touring style. A lot of the sort of suspension upgrades and the pieces that are in this truck, a few years ago you might have just only seen these on Camaros or on Chevelles that were doing pro touring builds, or Mustangs and that sort of stuff. But this truck really is built to do it all. It's ready to drive, it's ready to corner, it's ready to go. It's got a big horsepower 468 inch big block Chevy. It was built by AMS Engines, one of the most respected engine builders in Canada. It's going to make well north of 500 horsepower, so there's tons of jam. It's a pretty nice day out here, but it's still November in Edmonton, so we're not going to really get a chance to get after it with these cold roads. The transmission's brand new, turbo 400 and a 9-inch diff out back. Up front, it's all tubular suspension, tube A-arms, custom uprights. I think they're Willwood brakes, coilover billet adjustable coilover shocks, nice sway bars, rack and pinion steering. So really ticks all of the boxes for modern performance, and wraps them in this beautiful pickup truck package. I mean, it's got pickup truck seating position. It's got, it feels like a truck. You're sitting in a truck cab, but it's tight. It's rattle free. It's a little bit rough riding. I mean, that's going to be typical with something like this that's on very firm suspension. It's on big wheels. It's on performance tires. So there is a trade-off where to get the kind of handling performance that this truck's capable of, you do have to give up a little bit in terms of ride quality. But this truck really does split the difference very nicely. I'm sure we could soften up the settings on the shocks just a little bit, bring back a little ride quality to it. But I got to tell you, it's a pretty comfortable truck to be in. I don't mind the riding position. It's very, very upright. Typical, 50s truck, early. I mean, let's face it, these things when they were new, they were basically appliances. Never in a million years would somebody have envisioned that they were going to get turned into high-end hot rods like this that drove and stopped and steered the way that this truck does. But the quality of the build sure shows through when you drive it. The feel through the steering wheel, the lack of vibrations, rattles, whistles, shakes and shimmies. The truck drives really, really nicely. Coming into a corner behind a whole bunch of traffic, we probably could have taken this corner pretty fast, but we got to have the space to do it. Yeah, the build quality absolutely shows through in the way that this truck drives. And it's not really fair to compare this truck to a stock, early 50s truck. Obviously it's a million miles from there, but what I think about when I'm driving this truck is comparing it to lots of different street rods and muscle cars, early Corvettes that I've been in even, how they drive, and even modern cars and how those drive. This is a really well put together vehicle. It shows in how it drives. This is really, really impressive. Picks up speed very smoothly. There's lots of jam. Good throttle response. I'm certainly not getting after this thing at all. A little bit of brake squeal. I think the brakes have never gone out to get bedded in. Probably needs a few hard stops to get the pads and the rotors warmed up in this thing. But it's very well sorted out for something that only has, for a brand new build that only has 300 miles on it. They really got a lot of it right out of the box. You know, you always have, on a big build, a new build like this, you have new car blues. And it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it, doesn't matter how good it is, it doesn't matter what kind of parts you use. There's always stuff to sort out when you build a car from scratch or build a new hot rod. And a lot of that is chasing down stuff like fitment issues, tune-up issues, drivability issues, how stuff opens and closes, how it fits, how it feels, which there's just a bunch of work to do. And I'm really pleased to report that that's been done very well in this truck. It doesn't exhibit a bunch of signs of needing sorting out. In fact, it really needs no sorting out, which is very impressive. Fit and finish on this truck is superb. If you get a chance to look at our photo gallery, you can take a look at the body, and I encourage you to look closely and maybe even compare it to a build on a similar vehicle, a similar one of these body style trucks, so you can pick out some of the body modifications that have been done. It's not just the French tail lights, the fenders have been reshaped, the running boards are touched up and tucked just that little bit. The way that they've got the cowl flowing into the hood, just perfect. The body gaps, the setup in the doors, there's been just the roll pan, there's been an incredible amount of work that's been placed into this truck. One of my favorite little details on this truck are the bed rails. The tops of the bed rails are bodywork and flush and flat and straight, almost unlike anything you'd expect in a truck like this. It's impressive the way they finished them out, and that just shows superb attention to detail and willingness to chase after something in the truck that maybe most people would never ever notice, but they spent a bunch of hours to make it right, and it does show. I do notice. I really do like that stuff. And this truck is spectacular, all shined up and ready to show. It's a little bit dusty out here, the wind is blowing a little bit, but this is a spectacular and gorgeous machine for sure. Just settles down to a perfect idle as we come to a light. Nice and composed. There's no learning its quirks or how it likes to drive or moving my driving style to match the idiosyncrasies of the truck. I mean, there's so many hot rods where you kind of have to learn the cadence of how it works, or where it likes to shift, or how it likes to steer, or what the brakes feel like. And it's really cool to get into a truck like this where you don't have to recalibrate your driving style hopping out of a late model pickup truck or out of an SUV or something like that. Yeah, this is a 50s truck. Yep, it drives like a street machine. But man, is it ever a well sorted out one. This thing just works good. It's everything you'd expect at this kind of level of build. We're gonna have to turn the defroster on here. Just starting to fog up. It's because of all my hot air that I'm talking, guys. Although it's a beautiful day, it is. We are knocking on the door of winter time here in Edmonton. Here we are, back at Sherwood Motor Cars. What a great drive in this truck. This thing is super cool. Thanks for joining us.